Okay, happy 2011. Let's get down to business. One of the questions I've been asked a lot is how I create my abstract starting points for paintings. This is one way I do it. That's a painting I've done before, and I just load it in and I'm just scribbling over it just to kind of give me some kind of palette that I can begin to work from. Other times I'll do this just with a brush. Other times I'll actually have photographs and I'll just paint over them just to give me some kind of starting point. The thing I'm going to paint here is I'm going to paint some kind of a village with a few huts in a forest with a stream. That's that's what's going down right now. This is going to be an exercise in fairly saturated colors, but hopefully still tasteful. I mean, I'm going to try and play up warms and cools where I think I can bring a focal point and have the image read nice and simply and quickly and all that good stuff. One of the reasons why images need to read quick, especially in the entertainment industry, like for film or animation, is because your images are only going to be seen for a split second when they're on the screen. And not only that, though, but when you look at something, your brain is so quick at processing what it is that if you have to sit there and figure it out, you're just not going to be as engaged in the picture anyway. Even if it's an oil painting where you have an hour to look at it, it should still read extremely quickly. So like I always do, my first goal is to try and get the basic things in. And by basic things, I mean composition, relative sort of a value scheme, and I'm not really worried about color yet, even though there is color in this picture right now. It's just kind of a guesswork of where I'm going to go, but you can see composition starting to be worked out. The values, obviously, I've got a very light value going to a very dark value. The lightest being that little structure in the middle, and the darkest being the trees in the foreground. Those things are going to be trees eventually. And compositionally, I'm really concerned with blocking in shapes that are kind of pleasing in an abstract way. You know, I don't really care what it is I'm painting yet. It's in the back of my mind, but really what's more important is just shapes that look good in 2 dimensions. You know, it's an abstract thing. When you're painting, and I talk about this in my classes that I do online, when you're painting, you really have to think like an abstract artist. Painting is abstract. There's no such thing as realism, really. It's all abstract painting. The only thing that I'm doing here, or that any representational painter does, is we make shapes that trick your brain into making things look like things, you know? But really, what it is, it's abstract. And when you can think abstractly, you will start cluing into things like design and shapes and little color notes or things like that. Things that don't necessarily make anything look like something, but they in and of themselves are interesting. And I discussed this in some of my other videos too, but that's really what I want to get at. I'm adjusting composition here. I just did that a few seconds ago. I literally moved the canvas up and to the left and then extended to the right because I didn't like how my main hut structure was dead center of the picture. It's amazing. I call myself, I do this professionally, and yet I still make 101 mistakes of putting stuff in the middle of the picture. I don't know what's wrong with me. But luckily, this is digital and it's easy to fix. The key is that you're looking out for these things. And not that having something in the middle is bad, but it's in this case, I didn't like it. It just kind of stunts the direction of the thing. Anyway, like I said, this is going to have some fairly saturated colors in it. And you can see those colors being built up now. When I say built up, it's literally how I think of it. I tend to start fairly monochrome, or at least fairly grayed down, and then I will build color and keep building so I have somewhere to go to. I get asked that question quite a few times as well, do I start saturated or do I try and nail colors down right away? Not really. With values, yes, I try and hit values fairly quick, so I have a sort of a key, but with color I find that I work best personally when I can build up to my finished color and add color notes here and there. In fact, the most fun I have in painting is later on in the painting when I get to just have fun with little color notes, a little saturation here, a little gray color here. That's later. But anyway, this painting in real time took about an hour. It's still a quick sketch. I consider an hour a fairly quick sketch. when it comes to concept work like this, but an hour is more than enough time to get a clear, readable image and something interesting. The only thing I would do with more time is I would add more detail, which I don't find necessary anyway. So this painting is fairly quick, and I'm just building in. I'm actually at the point of this painting now where I'm starting to think about color notes. You can see on the focal area there, which is right in the upper kind of middle upper right where that main hut is, you can see interesting colors mixing together. Some saturated blues with some violets and some reds and oranges, some grayed down oranges. You can kind of see those things. I'm trying to, again, abstractly create something that's interesting on top of the picture actually looking like something. Okay, so it's kind of working on two levels. It's working on a physical level where it actually looks like huts in a forest with a stream, but also on the level where if this were an abstract painting, it would have interesting color variations and color relationships in and of itself. You know, I discussed that at the beginning of this video. I'm just trying to elaborate a little bit. You know, the more experience I get with painting, the more I realize how important the abstract nature of it is. Sometimes I actually like looking at paintings that are kept abstract, you know, just for that reason, to see if what you can do without making your painting look like something. Anyway, that's the topic of a different video. I'm playing with the background here. One thing I'm doing in this painting is, because I've designed the light source to be so hot in right where the focal point is, obviously I'm using contrast to lead your eye right to the focal point of this painting. But one thing I do color-wise, I'm doing, I hear it called a halation. It's kind of like a bloom effect, if any of you guys have ever done 3D, where right around the hot spot of light, the light kind of bleeds into the background. So you can see where it's hitting the top of that hut there. Right around it is that kind of hot red color, violety red, mixing in with some oranges, kind of like blooming out of it. And it's not necessarily realistic, but it adds to the effect of shiny, bright light. And that actually does happen in real life. This is a caricature of it. I mean, I'm doing something that's looks like it could be for like an animated film or something like that, or some kind of stylized film. But that's a tool that can really help. If you don't do that, it will help. It will kind of flatten it out. But like I said, you can observe that from real life. That does happen. Just your eyes are letting in so much light that the area around it is going to be a little lighter value-wise. I'm just pushing it a little bit. Anyway, just making sure the image is a little bit darker on the right, a little bit lighter where the focal point is, just to enforce that focal point and just that contrast, you know. If you can have contrast working for you in a picture, that's kind of your best friend in many ways, because contrast is what makes pictures read, really, light versus dark shapes. And I'm doing that, and I'm also having the picture sort of modulate from lighter around the left to darker around the right, and also darker at the top and bottom and lighter in the middle. These are all very conscious decisions that I made, and I kind of made them sort of, I guess, midway through the painting when I kind of saw what I was doing. I'm like, yeah, that would work. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Really, the goal for the painter is to be able to kind of roll with that. And if it doesn't work, try and make something that does. And if it does work, try and make it as effective as you can. I'm really a believer in just doing a lot of work, a lot of sketching, and you know, the finished paintings will just happen organically out of that. I'm never sitting down at my computer saying, okay, I'm going to do something finished now. I never do that. Some paintings that go that way, some I keep sketchy like this. Just learn to love both worlds. And especially if you're doing this professionally, that's kind of a requirement, because you never know day to day what you're going to be asked to do. Anyway, so this is getting pretty finished here. I will cut to sort of a finished version of the painting any second now, and you'll see the colors were just pumped up a bit. I worked on this painting for about 10 minutes after I stopped recording. There it is. I kind of pumped up that color, maybe a little too much, but you kind of get the sense of what I was going for. And thanks a lot for watching, and Happy New Year.